Okay, well, this is Rob. I'm with Bundy Business Solutions. We provide books, tax, and CFO services, and I just want to go through my backstory, talk a little bit about that, go through some other things that I wanted to talk about. But basically, how I got into business was my first business was actually a vending business that I started and started from scratch. Didn't buy it. I went out and bought a machine. I cold called companies that I thought might need a vending to see if they were happy with their current service. And if they weren't, then I'd ask them if I could bring my vending machine in and put it in there. So I got up to, I don't know, about 15 machines. And then pretty soon I found myself going to stores and buying almost pallets of soda and pallets of chips and candy bars and all that, and it became a little bit too much for me at the time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to sell this. So somebody ended up buying that, and that was just, a personal person that came in and bought that. The next business I started was a financial planning service, and I grew that from $0 to $50 million book, which is pretty respectable over a 13-year period of time. However, it's kind of a drop in the bucket in today's terms because a lot of the brokers and financial planners have much larger books than that. But I had bigger aspirations, so I sold that business. And I wanted to not be confined to a certain geographic location where I was in that business. So I ended up starting a kind of a concierge home service business that had handyman, caregiver, massage, computer training, and housekeeping. And what I quickly found was that these were all very different, separate businesses that had very different employees and different operations and different ways of delivering the service to the consumer. So what I ended up doing was shutting down everything, all four of them, and just focused on caregiving services, which was really home care. And that led into getting Medicaid contracts and becoming home care or home health, which is really a certification process to get Medicare and other insurance companies to provide that, which is really the clinical side of home care. So we did that, and of course there were trials and tribulations running that organization. I had no experience, and had to hire people that had experience. But I did gain a lot of experience because I hired some consultants that really taught me home health, and I really had a very good understanding of it, and ended up selling that to, there were actually 4 different components. So there was, in Medicare, there in home health, you have kind of licenses for geographic areas. So there was a strategic buyer that bought one in Phoenix. There was a large home health or large nonprofit hospital that bought us in a different location, a large publicly traded company that bought the other side of our company, and a private equity. So there are 4 different sales, and so the experience of going through that due diligence was pretty interesting. I'd have to say that the nonprofit hospital and the publicly traded company was probably one of the most interesting because of the depth that they went into in the due diligence process. So I really got a good understanding of what they're looking for and the kinds of things that we need to focus on as a business owner when when you're creating value, because it all depends how, as the better your due diligence is, or the information that you have, and the value, or increases the value of that organization. And so those were some of the takeaways from going through that. So in 2020, we ended up selling that company. It was right in the middle of COVID. And what happened as a result of that in 21, we pivoted to delivering financial services again. But in this respect, we're going to deliver financial services in the form of accounting and tax and CFO advisory services, which is more strategic planning. And I think integrating all 3 of those together provides a much better. It was kind of an epiphany for me that it provides us with the knowledge that we need to be able to advise the client better, and it keeps us in with the relationship so that we're moving forward with that organization and doing a lot of strategic planning. So that was kind of my epiphany. And so we started this business, and I think some of the external struggles that we had are when you do something like that, you don't have a brand, you don't have the awareness. So there's a lot of effort that has to go into building that brand. And so that's one of our struggles that we've had in the beginning. Internally, I think that we struggled with, I struggle with impatience, and so I want things to happen so fast. And I think as a result of that, maybe I made some choices that aren't always the best. But impatience can also be a positive too, because you get things done, quick. When it comes to the, I think having any kind of company, you're faced with lots of different challenges. And let me stop there. Okay, so the epiphany was really the work environment has changed. And so this really allowed us to use the technology that has occurred to be able to service companies throughout the United States that can use these integrated services, which is much cheaper and much more efficient and cost effective than hiring a full-time CFO to do the same kind of work. So they may not, smaller companies can't afford to hire the full-time CFO in their organization to oversee their finance department, but they can certainly hire a fractional. And so that's where that came from, and that's really the direction that we're heading, and we're really looking forward to it. So if you like this, hit the like button or move forward with that. Press that button to get more information, okay? Talk to you later.